Hello and welcome back. It's been busy and insane as always, but that's the way it is in life. This morning I was going through my videos on YouTube, checking out the various subscribers and subscriptions that I follow. One of them caught my interest, and to be very blunt, it pissed me off. The title was something that resonates with me very quickly because it has been something I spent the last 30 years of my life doing. The title of this video was that AI is destroying YouTube. Now that's a paraphrase, not an exact literal. But this is a very popular YouTuber that had already gained well over 1,000 views just within its first 2 hours of release. That really irritated me. It irritated me to the point that I had to make a video. This video. AI is not destroying YouTube. There could be a lot of different reasons for what YouTube is going through, but AI is not one of them. AI is a tool, no different than a hammer, a saw, or any other kind of tool that we use in our daily life. What is destroying YouTube is people abusing it. And unfortunately, like this particular creator that used such a toxic, manipulative title to their video, they are contributing. They are contributing to the point that it is like saying automation is destroying manufacturing. It is that obscene, that insane, and that disgusting. And in fact, I had a high level of respect for this creator before they jumped on this kind of a toxic bandwagon. To be very blunt about it, that tactic earned them an unsubscribe. I have spent my time on YouTube building authentic videos. The abuse of AI has had its consequences, but that abuse is in the copy-paste scraping rhetoric, where people have come in, scraped content, put it through an AI generator, and then re-uploaded it as their own content, with no changes, no effort, and YouTube has monetized those channels. That is what is going to destroy YouTube. Governments around the world have already made it clear that AI-generated content is not allowed to be copyrightable. And yet YouTube is letting these channels file copyright complaints against the original authors. That is wrong. That is fraud. And that is what is going to destroy YouTube. But YouTube isn't really going to be the only nail in YouTube's coffin. They have been on the way into this direction for a while. And this is just one more rant to the existing problem that has plagued YouTube for far too long. Let's get into the real problem. The problem that isn't AI, but the people behind AI. The commercialization of channels to the point that YouTube has lost its focus. YouTube used to be the channel for new, upstart, or small channels to share their thinking process, their skills, their knowledge. Making a few bucks along the way is nice. But when you get to the point that you can have several hundred employees, you don't need YouTube anymore. You should have your own domain, your own servers, and leave YouTube for the small guys. The guys that aren't making any money, or the guys that have maybe a few thousand subscribers. At some point, you should not be a commercial business running on YouTube, because that destroys the integrity of what YouTube is. If you can hire 200 or 300 employees, professional editors, professional sound individuals, you don't belong on YouTube. Plain and simple. Now I know this is going to upset a lot of people. Too bad. I don't care. I don't like going to videos that have been so pressed and polished they look like something I should be renting on a DVD or purchasing as a commercial product. When I go to YouTube, I want to see authenticity. I want to see real individuals talking about their passion, not something that has been edited to the point that it belongs on public broadcasting, the BBC, or some other global network. That is really the true plague of YouTube. It's no longer about the small individual creator that's just making it by or hoping to get a few dollars to pay for what they do. It's become such a commercialized plague that it's breeding advertising fraud on a massive scale. It's breeding and turning into a disease that is hurting everybody. People like Mr. Beast should have their own domain and their own complete franchise. People like a small kitchen cook who is just using a tripod on their countertop pointed at their kitchen stove as they cook. That is the kind of content that YouTube was originally meant for, and the kind of content I personally like. I like being and watching channels that make me feel like I'm there with that person, that I can talk to that person, that their video isn't so polished. They seem like some professional chef on Hell's Kitchen or MasterChef, but rather somebody that I'm talking to directly. That connection is important to me. But getting back to the AI in channels, I use AI constantly. I have worked with it for 30 years before it became a commercial plague of propaganda and lies, when it was called natural language processing or knowledge bases or even electronic encyclopedias. The goal of what AI is has always been an enhancement tool for education, to understand what we give it in language, not to take over jobs or to espouse facts. It doesn't know what a fact is, so whatever you tell it is a fact as far as it's concerned. If you train an AI model to tell it that the sky is green with purple stripes, it is going to believe it because it doesn't know the difference. That is the kind of lies and manipulation that has taken place over the last few years within the technology industry, and it's wrong. That kind of disease and plague is part of what is killing YouTube, because it's rotting out the real valuable channels that YouTube was built on. The channels where people could be themselves. They didn't need to be polished presenters or go through acting classes or even go out and have thousands of dollars of editing equipment. They could be themselves, put up a video, and other people of similar interests could connect to them in a meaningful way, a genuine way, an authentic way, something that does not exist much on YouTube now. And that is one of the reasons why I took my own videos and I went the way I did. Because the industry I like to teach about, finance, is so filled with these polished scam videos that I wanted to keep my videos authentic. The other thing is, for me, that I am concerned about and will potentially be a problem in my own future, is my health is not that great, so it affects my voice and my voice quality. In the future, I may need to use an AI voice. It's a realistic concern that I have to live with. I could use a microphone on my collar and stuff like that. But overall, that's going to hurt me in the long term because of my own health issues. By using the microphone on my tablet, it forces me to lift my voice, to exercise my lungs, to project out the reality of what I need to do in a meaningful way. So for me, AI as a tool in the future may be necessity. But in that necessity, it needs to be clearly disclosed in the video. An AI-only channel should not be monetized. It should not be allowed copyright protections because it has already been ruled it cannot be copyrighted. As an AI researcher, as somebody that works in this field, has worked in this field, what I see in YouTube is going to destroy it. It's destroying the integrity of the videos. It's destroying the integrity of the quality of the videos. That doesn't mean that AI doesn't have a place, but it does mean that the individual creators of these garbage channels need to be held accountable and not monetized for the inappropriate content they're putting out. It does mean that the channels need to have clear labelings that AI was used. YouTube already has gotten part of that in place to their credit. But there needs to be teeth behind that decision. There needs to be consequences if YouTube creators lie about using AI in their video. And those consequences need to hurt. An AI video should be demonetized. An AI channel should be demonetized. People should not be rewarded for stealing content or not producing real quality material. There's a fine line, and it's going to be difficult, I know, and it's going to be problematic. But the realization of what YouTube is as a platform isn't going to survive with this continued abuse. If YouTube wanted to create a separate platform of nothing but professional YouTubers or AI content or things of that nature, fine, go ahead. But in terms of the competition of authentic quality content, the premise by which YouTube started as some guy setting up a tripod, sitting by a campfire at night, talking about whatever he wants to talk about. Some individual, guy or girl, working in a kitchen, cooking a meal, talking about healthy eating or how they are addressing a medical issue. Fine. That's the kind of content I watch. When people pull scams like AI is going to destroy YouTube or AI is destroying the art industry, they don't deserve to be followed. Because that's a lie. That's manipulation, and that does nothing but spread hatred. Such rhetoric is nothing more but toxic marketeering, and it has no place in the real world. It should be inexcusable, and it should not be accepted. As somebody who has worked with this industry, who does use it every day, who works to show what AI can do and cannot do, I find all of this disgusting. I find it inappropriate, and I find it direct manipulation that does no good for advancing society in a positive way. That is really one of the most difficult aspects of dealing with technology. People are too quick to blame the technology, but nobody wants to deal with the responsibilities of holding the person accountable. In a society of participation awards, it's not about the technology. It's about the person and their intentions. Good quality AI certainly has been proven to do very well, whether it's in the movie industry or even in the music industry, where auto-tune or CGI or computerized graphics have all had their place. The gaming industry is another example where AI has been a wonderful tool. The medical industry has shown very positive influences of AI, but it is also showing very abusive sides where people think that this machine can replace a real human doctor. There has to be some level of common sense. AI is not the savior of humanity, but it could very easily be the destruction of humanity by greedy people. And that's not the fault of the tool. That's the fault of the person behind it and their intentions. And that really is the point of this conversation. YouTube's downfall isn't going to be because of AI. It's going to be because of how people abuse AI to steal and commit fraud from advertisers, to rob individuals from their voice of being able to produce simple, quality videos that are authentic. As far as the channel that got my unsubscription, well, he deserved it. Sorry, but when you stoop to that level of farming that kind of nonsense, you don't deserve my patronage anymore. It's a harsh, brutal sentiment, but it's something that I feel strongly about because I spent so many years of my life building these things, understanding how they work, and seeing the benefit that they can really bring when they are used properly. And that is the real point of this discussion. Any tool can be used for good or bad. To a carpenter, a hammer can build a house. To a psychopath, the same hammer can commit murder. It's not the hammer that's the enemy. It's the individual behind it. So when you see these kind of videos, call them out. Make it clear that this kind of manipulation is not appropriate because it's really hurting everybody. It's hurting the people that need to use this technology in a meaningful way, whether it's an AI voice to help address medical issues, or whether they use it for spelling, whether they use it to help them with ideas. There are so many ways that AI is invaluable that we need to get a hold of the problem quick enough to keep the abusers from destroying the true potential that this market really represents. And most importantly, the value that this market can bring in a real world situation. So thank you for listening to my rant on this matter. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And together, hopefully, we can build a better future where technology does actually bring value to humanity. Until next time.